Hi, Shane Serson. It is Mistake Monday. What we're going to talk about today is a lot of people may not consider it a mistake. I consider it a mistake for me in my young age. When I first started taking lessons, I had a snare drum only, and then I got a drum set right away. And what I did initially was did a lot of work on snare drum, and then I mostly learning how to play strokes, development, that kind of stuff, and the basic rudiments. At the time, the flams, the double stroke roll, then called the long roll, the paradiddles, things like that, and then it branched off that, the buzz roll, stuff like that. Okay, this is before PASIC or PAS took them over and expanded them to 40. And the other thing I did is my grandmother had a restaurant. I've talked about this in another story. And she would take the records off the jukebox. Most of them were country. I would go through these 45s and pick out things that were remotely rock and try to listen to them. And the first song that I learned how to play on the drums, note for note, in my opinion, of listening was "Who'll Stop the Rain" by Creedence Clearwater Revival. So I was trying to copy things I heard and then work on development. So I got into some drum set books later. Now, my point is this. My mom had invited some friends over, and they saw the drum set and they asked me about playing. So I put on "Who'll Stop the Rain" and played for them. And they said, "Wow, that's great," whatever. And they said, "Play something else." And I started to put it on another song, and I said, no, just play, just you. And I had no idea what to do. I could demonstrate how to do a roll from slow to fast or whatnot, but I had no concept of how to just develop something and play on my own. I felt like if there wasn't something that I was reading or if there wasn't something I was listening to, I didn't have a guideline. I didn't have anything. So my point is this. In your process of learning, be it by ear and stealing ideas or fills or whatever, or reading and learning stuff from band or whatever, take and start to develop these ideas into something beyond the page or beyond what you listen to and start to create. It's like pour all that stuff in a mixing bowl, mix it up, and then start spewing out ideas. And it's okay to do this in a practice room. That's the best place to do it, actually. And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fall. You're going to fail. But eventually those ideas will start to come out and make sense to you, and you'll be able to tie together ideas like a sentence in a paragraph or something that make sense. And you could take somebody on this story by playing something for them that makes sense instead of just of course, when we first do our first solos, we just put every possible thing we know into that solo instead of thinking about what makes sense to a listener. We just do what we know. My point is this: early on, take whatever development you have and try it and do something with it outside of a page and outside of listening and see what you can create. Create from the beginning. It will help you in the long run. There's my mistake. I didn't do that. So when I did have to do my drum solos, they were very Buddy Rich oriented, a lot of snare drum licks and everything, because I felt like that filled up the space. And then later on, when I started hearing ideas, I could do a triplet, or I could do these paradiddles and move them around or whatever, then I started stealing those ideas too. My point is create from the beginning, put that as another avenue. It'll make a difference in your playing.